The program voted #1 by the Wrestling Writers Federation of America. Join us now for the fast-paced competition of professional wrestling, featuring the top grapplers from the world's largest governing body, the National Wrestling Alliance.
Back with my co-host Les Thatcher, welcoming you to Southeastern Championship Wrestling. Another hour of some of the finest wrestling competition in the country today.
That's right, Charlie. And, of course, championship month here on Southeastern Wrestling continues. Today you'll be seeing United States Junior Heavyweight Champion Brad Armstrong. He'll be defending against Jerry Stubbs. That should be an action-packed bout, Charlie.
Also, Robert Gibson in action against Oki Shikina.
And we'll be seeing Paul Orndorff against Golden Boy Chick Donovan.
Ken Lucas returns to television wrestling today. He'll be taking on Ron Bass. Of course, more importance than ever being placed right now on the very prestigious Southeastern Heavyweight Championship. It's about 1 month away from the time that the world champion Harley Race will be in our area.
That's right, Charlie. When Harley Race comes to town, he'll be defending the National Wrestling Alliance World Heavyweight Championship. And the man wearing the Southeastern singles title will be the man he'll be defending against. So, as you say, the importance becomes even more so as the time draws near for Harley to come into the area. A lot of tough competition here. Bass, Lucas, Golden, Orndorff, Austin, the Armstrongs, Jerry Stubbs, a great array of stars, and it could be anyone facing Harley in a month.
And in this next hour, a very important message from the corporate head of Southeastern Championship Wrestling, Don Curtis, and personality profile. As we said, championship month continues here at Southeastern Championship Wrestling, and the youngest gentleman to ever hold the United States Junior Heavyweight Championship, Brad Armstrong, will be defending that title on television today against a man who held that title longer than any other man with the U.S. title.
That's right, Jerry Stubbs. Charlie and I had a chance to talk to the challenger and the champion earlier. Let's hear their comments. The second title to be defended in championship month will be the United States Junior Heavyweight Championship. I'm with the challenger, Jerry Stubbs. Today's your chance, Jerry.
Well, you know, everybody knows I should be the world junior champion because I defeated Les Thornton. And right here in Dothan, Alabama, I was finagled the way out of it. You know, he jumped over the rope. Everybody knows he did, so I should still be the world junior champion. But now I got young Brad Armstrong, the U.S. junior heavyweight champion, the youngest guy to ever hold that title, and he'll be the youngest guy to lose it. And I got a little plan for you, Brad Armstrong. I'm going to get rid of you for good today.
Charlie Platt now with the champion.
Brad, a lot of pressure on you. What are your feelings about today's championship match?
Well, Charlie, I've been real lucky in recent weeks to hang on this belt as long as I have. I've been digging and scratching, and it's just Lady Luck has certainly been in my corner, and I'm just going to be out there looking for Stubbs to make a mistake and hope that I can capitalize on that.
The champion, Brad Armstrong, let's go to the ring for the introduction of this match. This event, U.S. Junior title match, 1 fall, 15-minute time. Introducing at 208 pounds from Marietta, Georgia, the United States Junior Heavyweight Champion, Brad Armstrong. His opponent, 225 from Atlanta, Georgia, Jerry Stubbs.
Jerry Stubbs, the challenger, Brad Armstrong, the champion. His championship month here on Southeastern Wrestling. We've got action. Collar and elbow. Headlock, takedown by Stubbs. And, of course, we mentioned last week, Charlie, a title match on television means a shorter time limit, so the challenger must carry the battle to the champion. He must open up early. Stubbs in control offensively now. We might mention to the fans a little sidelight here. The fact that Jerry Stubbs was one of the people instrumental in the training of Brad Armstrong for the professional ranks. So, to some degree, it is the teacher and the student in the ring right now. And, of course, in this instance, the student is the champion and the teacher the challenger. As you mentioned earlier, Jerry Stubbs holding the U.S. junior title longer than any other man in the history of that particular belt. And Brad Armstrong, the youngest wrestler to ever hold that same title.
The professional career of Brad Armstrong, less than 1 year old.
That's right. Of course, you know, there's always heartbreak in a career also, Charlie. Down, and the sudden success. Brad has handled it well, and hopefully on those down periods that this young man will be as competitive, as strong of will, and is concerned with what's going on in that ring as he is right now when he is at the top of the heap in the United States Junior Heavyweight Division.
Stubbs calmly taking the offense in this match, and as you mentioned earlier, it's going to take the challenger taking it to the champion because of the time limit on television.
Stubbs has been in control. He moved right in. He took the headlock, had the takedown, and holding Brad the canvas. Certainly Jerry Stubbs, as he mentioned on our interview earlier today, is the veteran of the team crew in there, Armstrong and Stubbs. So certainly you've got to give him the edge there. Tackle, a nice one by Jerry. Brad moves into that hip middle. Good reversal. Armstrong takes down. Hangs on. Traps that arm. Stubbs using a handful of hair. Takes his man over into the reverse chancery now.
This probably lists two of the more colorful personalities in pro wrestling today. You have Brad, of course, and we've mentioned it 100 times. A young man, 18 years of age, the youngest U.S. junior champion ever. Jerry Stubbs held the title longer than anyone else. Also, former NWA World Junior Heavyweight Champion. And apart from his arrogant personality, you have got to hand it to Stubbs. He's an outstanding competitor.
Stubbs has got the credentials, no doubt about that. Right now, Jerry opening up. I was feeling a strategy earlier. He had 19-pound weight advantage and his experience, taking Brad down with the headlock and the chancer, going to that front face lock now. He seems to be using his weight, hoping to wear Brad down early. Apparently planning on opening up, cutting Brad's endurance down now, taking the speed away from him. And, of course, Jerry can move well in that ring himself. And with that 19-pound weight advantage or so, that I think he's going about it the right way. Brad battling back, opens up a nice double shot to the midsection, and Stubbs is slowed down temporarily, Charlie.
Stubbs backs away. What a career for Brad Armstrong, and what training he has had in pro wrestling. Takes his man over into the turnbuckle.
The main thing, I think, with Brad, Charlie, he's taken the practical experience in the gym and put it to work in on-the-job training, which many times you can teach a good athlete in the gym, but under fire, he cannot apply what he's learned. Brad has been able to do this very successfully. Stubbs out. Brad trying for the pin, moves in now, going for that small package. May have his challenger here, and Stubbs is able to power out. Stubbs still very much in this one. Brad now on the offense, and he has just taken control in that particular category. Moments ago, a nice elbow sends Stubbs to the canvas.
2 count again on challenger Jerry Stubbs.
Brad moving in with that headlock, and Stubbs down.
Trying to stay in the middle and not pull for any opponent as we're supposed to do. I feel that Brad should be very cautious because putting that title on the line on television is one thing, but putting it on the line against a man who held it as long as Jerry Stubbs, Brad cannot be too cautious at this stage.
Exactly, Charlie. Well, you know, I was just going to say, I sit here as a former wrestler, second-guessing. I don't really know what's in Brad's mind or in Jerry's, but Brad had him on the go. Now, Brad has settled in. I would have done that, but, of course, he's wrestling a different strategy than I would have done. But, again, we must point out that Stubbs is a veteran of the two. Brad Armstrong has certainly set the wrestling world on its ear in a very short period of time. Just some 7 months as a professional now has held 2 major titles, and this one being the most prestigious thus far, the United States Junior Heavyweight belt. Going for that second tackle, Stubbs anticipates and stops him cold. Doubles him up with that shot to the midsection. So there with the experience of Jerry Stubbs is coming to play. Nice move by Brad, but Stubbs tucking under that rope. And Brad caught himself on that top. Dennis Condrey and Randy Rose with a board wanting Jerry Stubbs to plow away at Brad Armstrong here, Charlie.
And it's Stubbs.
Stubbs undecided. He can't make up his mind. He's not going to go for it. He's not going to go for it. Jerry Stubbs telling Condrey Rose to get lost. Wait a minute here. Condrey Rose moved in, and they stopped Jerry Stubbs. Brought that board down across Stubbs' forehead. And Brad Armstrong helping Stubbs out. Condrey Rose turned that board, and here comes Bob Armstrong. Condrey with the board now. Used it on Bob last week. Saito moves into that ring. And Charlie, we got mass confusion. This title match certainly has to be considered over at this point. Ron Slinker moves in.
Slinker chopping away at Saito. Austin, Orndorff, and others. Stubbs.
Let's go down and back this one up and recap Briefly, if you keep our cameras on the ring, Jerry Stubbs was handed a board by Dennis Condrey and Randy Rose. Stubbs undecided, and I think Condrey and Rose may have made a decision for him. He wouldn't use the board. Brad will maintain his title, certainly because of outside interference, but Condrey and Rose actually attacked Stubbs, Charlie.
Indeed. I'll tell you, what a turn of events here. Condrey and Rose attacking Stubbs. We'll be back with more action on Southeastern Wrestling in just a moment. Here from Southwell Auditorium, match time 8 p.m. for a supercard of Southeastern Championship Wrestling. For reservations and information, call 320-6163. Tickets on sale at Belleville Box Office Monday at 9 a.m. And a special lights out match, non-sanctioned by the National Wrestling Alliance or Southeastern Wrestling. Ken Lucas takes on Jimmy Golden. And a special event, 6-man tag team match. Bob Armstrong, Brad Armstrong, and their mystery partner take on Mr. Saito, Randy Rose, and Dennis Condrey for the Southeastern Heavyweight Championship. It's no disqualification as Ron Bass defends against Paul Orndorff. Jerry Stubbs takes on Oki Shikina, and Robert Gibson goes against Stan Lane. That's Monday night, Birmingham's Southwell Auditorium, match time 8 p.m. for a supercard of Southeastern Championship Wrestling.
And it is a supercard indeed. Monday night, Boutwell Auditorium. Tickets go on sale Monday morning at 9 a.m. at the Boutwell box office. With me, Paul Orndorff. And on Monday night in Boutwell Auditorium, he'll be going after the Southeastern Heavyweight Champion, Outlaw Ron Bass. It is a no disqualification match. So it's going to be a tough one right down the line. Before we talk to the challenger, let's hear from the champion.
Mr. Paul Orndorff, I'm going to have to tell you something, Paul. You were kind of a disappointment to me here last week, son. We were going for the Southeastern title, and you had to go out there. It got just a little tough on you, so you had to chicken out. You had to get yourself deliberately disqualified, Paul Orndorff. Well, I'm going to tell you something. This week it ain't going to happen. The no disqualification rule has been waived. If you want to go out there and chicken out on me, son, it don't matter. I can still do whatever I want to do to you, Orndorff, and I assure you that I will. I will do anything I've got to do to keep this title, Orndorff, because I'm going to beat Harley Race.
And of course, Paul, that's one of the keys. The man who's wearing that belt in 4 weeks is the man to wrestle world champion Harley Race.
That's very true. First of all, let me clear up one thing. The fans out there know exactly what Ron Bass did. He deliberately got himself disqualified so he could keep that belt. Well, I tell you what, justice has prevailed again because Don Curtis, the promotions here, have seen fit for me to have a match with another return match with Ron Bass for a no DQ for that belt, which means if he deliberately tries to get himself DQ'd, he will lose that belt, and I will be the new champion. Now, everybody knows that Harley Race is going to be here in 4 weeks, right?
Right.
The rush is on. Everybody's out for that Southeastern belt, and I'll tell you what, I'm out for it, too. I want that belt very bad because I got a lot of things to prove to a lot of people in this world, because I'm sure the fans out here would love to see somebody that's worthy to have that belt than somebody like Ron Bass to be the world champion. I'm sure they would like somebody like that myself, or Brad Armstrong, or Bob Armstrong, or Novell Austin. Well, I'm going out for one thing, Ron Bass. I'm coming out to get that belt, one way or the other.
Monday night, Birmingham's Boutwell Auditorium, the Southeastern title at stake. It is no disqualification as Outlaw Ron Bass battles Paul Orndorff. A night of wrestling you won't want to miss.
I'd like to take a moment to talk to Ken Lucas. Ken, returning to the Southeastern Wrestling area a couple of weeks ago, you've taken the area by storm, and this is our first chance to really sit down and talk to Ken Lucas and see what's been happening in your career.
Well, it's a pleasure to be back. You know, I just come out of Tennessee, and I had quite a few different titles up there, tag team titles and also single titles. But it's nice to be back down in this area here. You know, I've got a lot of friends and a lot of fans down through this way, and I always try to give 110%. And like I say, I have respect for the fans, and I hope they have respect for me, Charlie.
Take this opportunity to congratulate Ken. In the short time of his return in the Southeastern Wrestling area, he has already captured the very prestigious Southeastern Heavyweight Championship, and I know that's pleasing to you, Ken.
Well, it is pleasing, but you know, anytime you hold a belt like this, you've got a lot of guys gunning for you. I've got right now, you know, Mr. Bass is looking for a return match, and Mr. Golden's around, there's Condrey, there's Randy Rose, and they've got some great, very, very tough men here, and I have a lot of respect for all of them. And I know one thing for sure, in professional wrestling, you sell nobody short, because when you do sell somebody short is when you get beat.
Holding on to that belt will be a tough job for Ken Lucas, I'm sure, because, as you just mentioned, tough competition in the area. But the man that has this title around his waist when Harley Race comes to the Southeastern area will be going after the world title.
Well, I've wrestled a lot of world champions, and I've never had one beat me, but I'll say this, that when Mr. Race comes, I hope that I've got this belt because I have a little score to settle with Mr. Harley Race after a Kansas City episode. And like I say, he's the man that is the world champion. You've got to have respect, and you've got to have a lot of prestige for him because he is the world's best, and that's what makes the champions like Harley Race.
Wrestling will be coming to Georgiana, Alabama in the very near future, Ken, and you'll be in competition in Georgiana.
Yes, it's a pleasure to go up to that town too, Charlie, and I'll be seeing a lot of old friends up there, and I can't look to come that way.
Thank you very much for joining us, Ken, the Southeastern heavyweight champion and a favorite of the fans throughout the Southeastern wrestling area, Ken Lucas. Thank you, Ken.
Thank you.
1980 was a great year in pro wrestling, and if you had to section out any one particular part of the country that had the best competition, it would have to be voted the Southeastern wrestling area.
A lot of tough competition in the Southeastern wrestling area, and corporate head of Southeastern wrestling, Don Curtis, sent us a videotaped interview earlier in the week, and he had these comments for you wrestling fans. Let's listen.
I just want to take a fast minute here to thank you all for your support, somewhat belatedly, your support in 1980 and your continued support now in 1981. We spent about $150,000 last year on special incentives and purses and prizes in order to attract the top people, and it certainly paid off. You showed up by the thousands. We are planning on about doubling that budget for next year to further encourage the great talent that is available around the country. I'm also going to make an effort to appear at the various arenas in the area in order to sit and talk with you and hear your complaints or whatever you have to say is nice about us, to give us the opportunity to improve on our wrestling by knowing better what it is exactly that you want to see. We're also going to be doing some upgrading in our officiating by encouraging some officials clinics, referees clinics, to further encourage the competitive spirit in our wrestling program. And all of these things should bring us an even greater year of wrestling here in 1981. Once again, I want to thank you very much for your support last year and for your continued support this year.
Ladies and gentlemen, this event, one fall with 15-minute time limit. Introducing at 218 pounds from Pensacola, Florida, Robert Gibson. His opponent, 240 from Japan, the Japanese destroyer Oki Shikina.
Oki Shikina and Robert Gibson, your referee, Tommy Weathers. There's the bell. Gibson moves out. Shikina took off his wooden shoes, headband. He's ready for action. And Charlie, you know, looking back at the first match on today's program, Stubbs and Armstrong, Jerry Stubbs again now just kind of subsided, calmed down. I'd like to bring that point up again. Stubbs was handed a board to use on Brad Armstrong, and Stubbs was undecided and finally gave that board back to Condrey and Rose. And I'd say at this point, if I were Jerry Stubbs, I'd want more of Condrey and Rose than I could ever want of Brad Armstrong.
Indeed, Rose and Condrey are something to be dealt with here in the Southeastern wrestling area.
They're obsessed with the Armstrong situation.
And I still don't understand why they would take this thing as far as they have with the Armstrong.
It certainly has gotten out of hand, Charlie, and something's going to have to be done about it. No doubt about that. They've cracked the ribs of Brad Armstrong. They broke a board over the head of Bob Armstrong last year of the program. Caused him a concussion. Right now, Robert Gibson moving on the Japanese destroyer, Oki Shikina. Gibson, long, lean young gentleman, has a lot of good moves. Shikina, the leg grip and the takedown. Shikina, certainly a tough, seasoned veteran, Charlie, and he's a trial horse. He's a trial horse. If you can get by Shikina, you're in the ballpark. You're good enough to play in the league, so to speak.
A lot of good credits in the on the side of Robert Gibson. I know
another wrestling family to get to.
Right. Of course, older brother Rick Gibson now out of pro wrestling due to an injury.
Chop by Shikina and another chop. Shikina opening up now on Robert. Front face lock. Oki laying that weight in there. Good wide stance. Takes his man to the canvas. Applying that pressure. And I think, of course, here, Robert Gibson has the good aerial moves, the drop kick, the flying head scissors. Nice reversal there. Comes up with the arm, traps that arm, goes high, drops the knee into the shoulder. Robert Gibson now on offense, and Shikina in the position where he's going to have to go. Trapping that arm, barring it now across the elbow. Shikina with a handful of hair takes Gibson back into the rope.
Chops him while he's on those ropes, and again, Shikina opening fire on Robert Gibson.
We're going to get a look at Golden Boy Chick Donovan against Paul Orndorff. It should be quite a battle. Two well-conditioned athletes, Charlie.
Also, Ken Lucas will be in action later on today's edition of Southeastern Championship Wrestling. A lot of things happening in the Southeastern area and all over the country. We hope to bring you up to date on that.
Of course, coming up right after this match, Charlie, will be Personality Profile. Shikina moving in now, pressing with the advantage, goes to the trapezius area. One of his favorite maneuvers, using holds on the shoulders. Couple well-placed kicks, drops Gibson to one knee. Shikina in. A handful of hair, but right where referee Tommy Withers cannot see it, Charlie.
Shikina taking Gibson into that turnbuckle. Continues to chop away.
And the referee calling for the break starts his count. Shikina now with the headlock to come out of the corner, using that thumb to jab into the neck, the windpipe of Robert Gibson. Oki moves in, goes back to that nerve center again. And here's Gibson with a nice retaliation. And again, moves in now. Let's see where he's going with this one. Sends Shikina cross ring. Opens up. Robert Gibson back in this one. An elbow staggers the Oriental gentleman. And Gibson moves right back in. That forearm. Headlock now. Shikina shakes him free. Takes him high on the backdrop. And Gibson was stunned on that one.
Shikina moving out again. Back into the ropes for Gibson. Beautiful move by Robert Gibson. Flying through the air. Yes, it's over.
Nice move. Strapped the legs well on that one. He had Shikina tied up. He couldn't go anywhere. And got the 3 count. Robert Gibson with a nice win over Oki Shikina.
A lot of action coming your way. Personality Profile is next. Profile segment of Southeastern Championship Wrestling. Our guests today, Randy Rose and Dennis Condrey, the Southeastern Tag Champions, and Mr. Saito, the Alabama State Heavyweight Champion. And, gentlemen, first of all, you have maintained those Southeastern Tag titles for quite some time in this area.
When you speak with a little respect, because you're talking to me and my cuz, the Southeastern Tag Champions, and you're talking to the Alabama Champions, better known as a terrific trio. And there ain't, like we said again, there ain't 3 men in the world that can beat us.
I think,
you have any doubt in your mind?
Well,
you have any doubt, sir?
doubt.
I don't have a bit of doubt in my mind. You don't win the doubt, baby.
You, two gentlemen and Mr. Saito have had this personal grudge against both Bob and Brad Armstrong for quite some time now.
Well, you call it grudge, you call it what you want. But we're going to take out, we've already took out the little kid with the broken ribs, and we took out the old man with the head concussion on the back of the noggin.
Last week on this program, you...
Right or wrong?
Well...
Is that what you call elimination?
They're both in competition.
We could be called the eliminators. You can call us what you want, but call it good. Right, cuz? That's exactly right. You know, Mr. Platt, I've been a wrestling profession now for about 6 or 7 years, and I've been involved in some pretty bitter feuds. Now, these Armstrong boys, I would personally like to shake Bob Armstrong's hand. Yeah, that's what I like to do. I like to shake his hand. Because right here on this TV last week, I hit a home run with his hand. I knocked him all over the left field fence, baby. I hit over the bat again. His shoulders. Now, the man didn't get to wrestle that night. I understand he didn't get to wrestle for a couple of more nights. So I understand it's died now. That's good. That's fine. That's dandy. That's exactly what we want. Because Armstrong, like we told you, we're going through a process of elimination. No matter how long it takes, no matter how long you take to dish it out, we're going to dish out punishment every night until you are through. You could say instead of scrambling eggs, we scrambled his brain a little bit. Casey went to bat last week, he may go to bat today.
Well, the problem seems to be that any time, whether it's single or tag team action, that you two are involved in a match with Brad or Bob Armstrong, the match gets totally out of hand, and before everything is over, a third element comes into the ring, and that is the Alabama State Heavyweight Champion,
Well,
Mr.
it's like you
Saito.
said, process of elimination. We call it ABC. If our A plan don't work, we go to B. If our B plan don't work, we go to C.
Well, upcoming here in the Southeastern Wrestling area, there is going to be a six-man tag team match in which you and Dennis Condrey, Mr. Saito will be one team, Bob and Brad Armstrong will be on the other team, and they have a mystery partner. And they are standing by in another studio right now, and let's switch to Bob and Brad Armstrong.
You know, for the past few weeks, all over the southeastern area, right here on television and live matches, the terrific trio, as they call themselves, Condrey, Rose, and Saito, have dished out a lot of punishment to Brad and Bob Armstrong. I suffered a concussion. I walked sideways for 3 days. They got a big laugh out of that. I had dizzy spells. That was funny to them, but believe me, it's not too funny when you're on the receiving end. They cracked my son's ribs. After that, a week later, they sent him out while he was still bandaged up. They sent Saito out to bust him up good. They've chosen every opportunity. They salted me down, knocked me down, kicked me around. They've done everything they could to knock us off the pedestal and get us out of pro wrestling, out of the southeastern area. And they've come real close. But, you know, I've always said you don't measure a man by his size, it's by his heart, and we've come back. We're hurting, sure. I'm going to be the first to admit that I've been hit by so many karate shots from that Saito. He's changed my voice 3 times in the last month. But, you know, the thing is that everything comes to an end. Every dog has his day. Retribution is at hand. And I'm standing out here today a happy man. I am tickled plumb to death, me and Brad both, because in this 6-man tag, we finally got even. We're going to get down. Things are going to get done. Now, we've kept this a secret. We've said mystery partner, and right now, I want to show everybody who the mystery partner is. If you'll just come with me, just a few feet away, stands the biggest of them all, boys, a AAA combination. Armstrong, and Andre, the biggest man in the world today. A man with a foot that can sit on 3 faces and push them in the mat. And when we come in this 6-man tag, table's going to turn. The worm will turn, brother. What goes around comes around. And what will be going around is your head spinning on top of your body. Because 7 foot more, 564 pounds, plus another couple of A's, we're going for A night, boy. Andre, we're coming 6-man tag. Read it and weep. There he is, boys. And when it's all over with, the AAA boys, Armstrong, and Andre, are going to make Saito, Condrey, and Rose the 3 Stooges. What is this? Armstrong, he's not supposed to be there, partner. What is this? No, baby, we're not going for it. Hey, there's no way. Is this some kind of trick? Did you set this up?
No. That is set up by Mr. Bob Armstrong. Andre the Giant will be
We don't have to go for this. We don't have to stand for this. Let me tell you something, Charlie Plant. We knew he was going to be there, but he's not going to be there, partner. I guarantee you something. When a cuz gets in there, we're going to chop him down.
Seems that the Armstrongs have the biggest partner they could obtain in professional wrestling, 7'4", Andre the Giant, the 8th wonder of the world. Look at there, one fall with a 15-minute time limit. Introducing at 245 pounds from Tampa, Florida, Paul Orndorff. His opponent at 223 from California, Golden Boy Donovan.
Donovan out against Paul Orndorff, and we're getting our first look at Golden Boy here on Southeastern Wrestling. And Orndorff's ready to go with the belt, Charlie, but the Golden One is not prepared. He's going to take that headband off the vest. Donovan coming into the area with good credentials. Just had to come off the West Coast some weeks ago. And I'm not sure if I want to grab a hold of all that gold glitter or not, Charlie. But Orndorff did, collar and elbow at jockey for position. And we're looking at physique contest in there, too. Orndorff and Donovan both well put together. Donovan with the first move, gets the body slam. And right back at it. Former North American champion, Paul Orndorff. On the second run. Arm drag.
in control again.
Chick was a very happy man. He got the first move in after the bell. He got that body slam. But while he was busy savoring his good move, Orndorff moved right into a series of slams, arm drags, had Donovan on the run right now. Orndorff barring that left arm of Chick Donovan.
And it's Orndorff spinning around, applying the pressure. Golden Boy Donovan. Hands full with Paul Orndorff, former North American heavyweight champion. Orndorff, outstanding competitor in great physical condition. And whether it be singles or tag team action, you can rest assured that Paul Orndorff will not back down from the best of them. Over on the ropes now, Tommy Weathers calling for the break.
Elbow by Donovan, and staggers the big man from Tampa. Donovan with that headlock now, driving fairly the thumb into the windpipe. Paul trying to get that wind back. Donovan moving in on him now, and again going for it. Donovan has no problem expressing his pleasure at being on top of the heap at this moment, but Orndorff, not a man you can count out easily, Charlie.
Orndorff firing back, but it's Donovan with a good connection to the side of the head. Locked in tight. And here we see Paul Orndorff on defense at this point of the match.
Donovan applying that pressure. Orndorff trying to slide his way out into the hammerlock. He does. And Donovan moving right to the ropes will get the break. Donovan, a hit-and-run artist, he moves in, takes the shots when they're there for him, and keeps moving when his opponent is trying to double him up there. Nice move on Orndorff's part. Wrapping that arm, throwing that weight back, and the pressure going into the shoulder joint. Donovan being slowed down now as Paul Orndorff moves in, trying to press for advantage. Donovan gets him with a kick and a couple rabbit punches. Drops Paul into that turnbuckle head first. Donovan on the move, and the advantage here has seesawed back and forth, Charlie.
Indeed. Orndorff fires into the midsection. Good connection side of the head, and again on the golden one. High left body drop. Orndorff moves in. Snap bear takedown. Crashes down with that left.
Nice knee drop by Paul, and he stunned the golden one on that one. Into that turnbuckle goes Donovan. Donovan lost his footing, trying to stay on his feet, and couldn't do it. Orndorff moves in now. He's got command. Shoots his man across the ring, goes to the drop kick, catches him on the rebound. Power slam. And out is Donovan. Orndorff sets him up, sends him cross into the turnbuckle. But Donovan with the knee up. Stops Orndorff. Moves in on him now. Looked like Paul may have been ready to put him away there. But Donovan got the knee up.
Look at this. Look at Orndorff. It's over. Paul Orndorff, former North American heavyweight champion, winner in a surprise move over Chick Donovan.
Reversed it very nicely, Charlie. Donovan thought he had it put together. Orndorff saw it coming, hooked him, put him away with that nice backslide and a body press.
It's all over. The winner, Paul Orndorff, coming up. A lot more action here on Southeastern Championship Wrestling.
Average 475-pound Andre the Giant will be joining these two gentlemen, Bob and Brad Armstrong, as their partner in a six-man tag on Monday night, Birmingham's Bowell Auditorium. Before I talk to Bob and Brad, let's hear from their opponents, Condrey, Rose, and Saito.
You think you pulled a slick one, don't you, Armstrong? You think you went out and got the biggest man in professional wrestling, thinking he's going to whoop on our heads in Birmingham. But you're wrong, because when a tree gets in our way, we take a saw and we cut it right down. It's going to fall. Andre has never been off of his feet before, but you're going down in Birmingham. You're going down. And Mr. Saito is going to chop you, baby. He's going to open your head up. Me and my cousin are going to kick booty. Said it before, was said again. There ain't no 3 men can beat him.
Bob, as a backup man, I can't think of 3 other guys I'd rather have than this one, Andre.
Boy, they're real excited, aren't they? How many times have I gone down to those 3 guys, 3-on-1 in Birmingham? How many times have I been salted down, kicked, knocked around? But finally, it's come down to 3-on-3. And, brother, our partner ain't no pushover. You'd have to get on a stepladder to push that boy over. And if he throws salt in his eyes, he's going to have to get up on that top ring post and throw that salt up. Because we come into Birmingham finally to do the job. You've been doing the job, but you didn't do it. You've been doing it on me, and you've been doing it on Brad. Every time we turn around, we've heard that no men in the world can beat those 3. Well, we pulled a good one, right? We pulled a good one. And in Birmingham, we're going to pull another good one because you boys are going down. Salt, karate, kung fu, boogaloo, I don't care what it is. In Birmingham, you will go down, the 3 of you. Not just 1, not 2, but all 3 of you, boy. Because if we get you down and Andre lays on you, he can cover all 3 of you. And if he comes off that top rope on you, they'll have to dig you out of that mat, boy, because you will be planted in that mat in Birmingham.
Bob, Brad, and Andre against Condrey, Rose, and Saito, Monday night in Boutwell.
Wait.
A lot of action taking place in the Southeastern wrestling area, and of course I would think that the big appearance of Ken Lucas on the scene has changed quite a few things in some people's minds, Ken.
That's correct. You know, it's always an honor and a pleasure to come back around this vicinity. I've got a lot of friends here, Charlie. This has always been like my home around this area here. And, you know, you got a lot of rough guys right now that's trying to roughshod everybody. You've got Golden and Bass and Condrey and Rose and everything. There's going to be some cleaning up doing. We've got some fine wrestlers in here that's going to pull together, and we're going to change things around here a lot.
We have some videotape of a recent match between Ken Lucas and Jimmy Golden. Should have aired when it was on that VCR.
This happened last week, right at the beginning of that match. I went in the ring. Jimmy attacked me when I went in the ring. And we started right out there. You can see what I'm doing to him. And when things got hot and heavy, Charlie, you know, it wasn't Ken Lucas who left, it was Mr. Golden.
I noticed that Golden...
You can see right there, you know, things got hot and heavy. Jim's a big guy, there's no doubt about it. You know, he stands about 6'4", 6'5". As you can see right there, when things got hot, I'm laying those big haymakers right to his head. I had him down here, and I'm really working on his head, you can see. And very, very, very tough man, Mr. Golden. I didn't think he had quite that in him, but as you see, when things got hot and heavy, he was the first one to take off. You'll see this in a second. But I got pretty upset and pretty mad here, and I knew what I had to do. And you don't give Jimmy Golden no slack, because if you make a mistake with Jimmy, you can lose the match right there. And he is a tough man.
He's had many tempers in pro wrestling because of the incident with his very own family, Ron Fuller.
Right. You see right there, I'm laying those big 5, and these referees kept on me. And Charlie, I hate to do something like this, push him back and everything. But the thing about it is a guy like Golden, when you start on a man like that, you got to finish him off because, like I say, he's a tough man, and you make one mistake and he can be right on you. And you see right here what happened, right? They pulled him out. Condrey and Rose out there pulled him out. Now he makes a lot of threats that he wants to come back in the ring, but he had no intention to come back in that ring.
Ken Lucas, returning to the Southeastern wrestling area, and Ken, of course, our best of luck to you in competition in this area.
Thank you. I'm going to take care of a little business right now, Charlie.
Thank you. Ken Lucas, been in the Southeastern wrestling area many times before, and one of the greatest pro wrestlers in the world today. Let's go to the ring now for our next event, our television main event, one fall with TV time remaining. Introducing at 224 pounds from Las Vegas, Ken Lucas. Ken Lucas. His opponent, 285, Pampa, Texas, Ron Bass.
Man with a great reputation in professional wrestling. Out against the Outlaw from Pampa, Texas, Ron Bass. Lucas and Bass could be a main event any place in the country, Charlie.
And what two outstanding athletes we have in that squared circle now. I think, you know, looking back over what took place in 1980 in the southeastern area, the response to Ken Lucas on his return is just like, he is Ken Lucas, to me, one of the greatest pro wrestlers in the country and in the world today. He travels all over the world.
That's right, Charlie. Luke can go at you any way he wants. If you want to brawl with him, he'll brawl. If you want to wrestle him, he'll wrestle. Holder of many regional titles in both divisions, heavyweight and junior heavyweight. A tough competitor. And right now, he's got his hands full with the Outlaw, Ron Bass. And look there, nice block by Luke. Luke then takes his man down.
Ron Bass, little strategy there on his part. You can look for those shortcuts to be taken by the big man from Texas.
Bass with a lot of power, a lot of strength. He tries to overpower his opponents, tries to intimidate them. But intimidation is not well used on Ken Lucas. He doesn't intimidate easily. And Bass or anyone else that gives that a shot will find out exactly what I'm saying is true. Bass now verbally abusing Kenny. But Luke, you know, there's hardly an in-between. Kenny's a smooth-going gentleman until you get him wild, and he's a wild man. It doesn't take him long to make the transition from one to the other, Charlie.
Nice reversal into a hammerlock by Luke. They're over on the ropes. They call for the break. Bass gets in that couple of fists before they get off of those ropes. There we see possibly a thumb to the throat by Bass.
Again, Bass moving in on Kenny. Right back at him, that right jab. Luke back at him now, and the man from Mesa, Arizona. Beats out an SOS on the forehead of Ron Bass.
Lucas firing away. Good connection.
Luke taking that arm bar, windmill to the side. Bass going to the eyes now, raking across the eyes. Again, that little right jab. This is with the elbow. Lucas has got the sweeper.
Patented Ken Lucas sweeper, Jimmy Golden. Golden put into the ring.
And last week, Lucas slapped Golden, and it looks like Golden's trying to return that favor. Luke takes loose, and now he goes after Golden. Bob Armstrong hits the ring now to help out. Bass and Armstrong squared off. Golden has got more, I think, of Lucas than he wants. Steiner Rose pull him out. Bass heads for home.
Lucas, the winner on disqualification. Golden comes in. Ken Lucas, your winner on disqualification, will be back in just a moment. Sparkle Auditorium, next time 8 p.m. for a super card of Southeastern Championship Wrestling. For reservations and information, call 320-6163. Tickets on sale at Belleville Box Office Monday at 9 a.m. A special Lights Out match, non-sanctioned by the National Wrestling Alliance or Southeastern Wrestling. Ken Lucas takes on Jimmy Golden. Special event, 6-man tag team match. Bob Armstrong, Brad Armstrong, and their special partner, the 8th wonder of the world, 7'4" Condrey the Giant, takes on Mr. Saito, Randy Rose, and Dennis Condrey for the Southeastern Heavyweight Championship. It will be no disqualification as Ron Bass takes on Paul Orndorff. Jerry Stubbs goes against Oki Shikina, and Robert Gibson takes on Stan Lane. Monday night, Birmingham's Bothwell Auditorium, a super lineup of Southeastern Championship Wrestling.
We'd like to remind you once again that tickets go on sale for that big card featuring Andre the Giant Monday morning at 9 a.m. at the Boutwell Box Office. With me, Ken Lucas. And on Monday night in Boutwell Auditorium, he'll be in a lights-out match against Jimmy Golden. It's non-sanctioned by Southeastern Wrestling or the National Wrestling Alliance. Anything goes, and it should be quite a fray. Before we talk to Kenny about it, let's hear from Jimmy Golden.
Can you imagine that Ken Lucas? Ladies and gentlemen, do you realize that man is shaking in his shoes. He is sweating. He is saying, Lord of mercy, what have I went and done? I've got myself in a lights-out match with Jimmy Golden. That lean, mean wrestling machine, Jimmy Golden. Let me tell you something, Lucas, baby. There ain't no backing out now, right, Tennessee Stud? You see this man right here, the ex-partner? He ain't with us no more. And that's what's going to happen to you in Birmingham, boy. This is going to be like taking candy away from a baby in a lights-out match. They're going to turn the lights out and turn it back on. And then when we get in the ring, that means that I can do anything that I want to do. And I'm going to eat you alive, boy, in Birmingham. I'm going to destroy, annihilate that little short, stubby Ken Lucas.
On one side of the coin, Jimmy Golden can do anything he wants, but Ken, on the other side of the coin, you can do the same.
Well, if guys like that talk, most of the world's champions left. You've got to back up things in the ring. And if this is a lights-out match, just like Mr. Golden said, the lights will be turned on and they'll be turned off. And when they come back on, Mr. Golden may not look too good. Because you know something, Jimmy, you've rough-shotted a lot of guys around here, the Tennessee Studs. You've got Robert Fuller. You've got a lot of Mr. Wrestling, but you're not going to get Ken Lucas. And I'm going to come there with both barrels loaded. And, Jimmy, let me tell you one thing. You've known me for a long time. You see me up and down the highways. I used to be your friend at one time. I've lost a lot of respect for you, Jim. And when it comes down to that part of it, man, I'm going in there to do one thing, and that's to beat you any way I can. So if you want to come there and you want to wrestle, fine. If you want to street fight, fine. But with this lights-out match, anything goes, and I'm going to plan to go in there, and I'm going to plant 5 right down your teeth, my man.
Monday night, Birmingham's Boutwell Auditorium, a lights-out match. Lucas against Golden, plus Bass against Orndorff for the Southeastern title, and 7'4" Andre the Giant joins the Armstrongs against Saito, Condrey, and Rose. Monday night in Birmingham.
A lot of action taking place today on Southeastern Championship Wrestling. Les, that first match of the day.
Right, it is championship month in Southeastern Wrestling, but today we saw something a little different. Brad Armstrong defended the U.S. junior title against Jerry Stubbs. And to go on into that match, Condrey and Rose made their presence known. They walked out there with a board, offered it to Stubbs, put it in his hands. Jerry undecided what to do with it, and decided he'd rather beat Brad Armstrong for the title than crush his skull, apparently. Rose and Condrey came in the ring and went after Stubbs so they could possibly get to Brad Armstrong. And like I said earlier in the program, if I were Jerry Stubbs, I'd be more concerned with right now with Dennis Condrey and Randy Rose than I would be with that title and Brad Armstrong.
The team of Rose, Condrey, and you have to put a third element in there. Saito are obsessed with this thing of doing away with the Armstrongs altogether. Right. Not only Brad, but in matches with Bob.
Well, last week on the program, they came out with a board. They clobbered Bob with that particular board, caused him a concussion. They've gotten to Brad's ribs, cracked a few ribs. I'd say the Armstrongs are going to take this thing down.
And I would say at this point that the tapes from last week's incident and this week will be sent to Southeastern Wrestling President Don Curtis, and I'm sure it will be dealt with in a very strict manner, and I would possibly look for suspensions.
There's that possibility, certainly.
And a lot of things taking place, and with the Armstrongs against Saito, Rose, and Condrey, I feel assured somewhere down the line that the Armstrongs will put together the right combination.
I believe so, too. Of course, we mentioned, Charlie, in just about a month, Harley Race, the National Wrestling Alliance World Heavyweight Champion, will be in the Southeastern area defending that title against a man at that particular time who is holding the Southeastern Heavyweight Championship. We've got a lot of tough competition. Golden, Armstrong, Orndorff, Austin, Gibson, Lucas returning to the area, Bass. Any one of these men would love to face Harley Race. It would give him a tough battle, and any one of these men would love to hang on to that title belt when he comes into the area. So it makes right now, the next 4 weeks, probably the most important for a man to win that Southeastern Heavyweight title.
1981, as John Curtis said, will be a banner year for Southeastern Championship Wrestling. Our thanks to you for joining us this week. Championship month continues. Thanks to our crew, Earl Tyson, Neil Little on camera, our director, Wayne Register.